Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we have some Retribution Paladin tuning, and we are also going to combine this with a little bit of an update on the horrific visions. Obviously that's not Ret Paladin specific, but stay along if you are curious about the corruption changes that happened as well. So this is going to be, I believe, going live on the reset, so on 15th, yep, April 15th. Paladin's getting a little bit of tuning. Now it's not going to be necessarily the most meaningful tuning, because they are still trying to make Herald of the Sun more playable. So let's go over what they're doing here. Herald of the Sun, Gleaming Rays, now increases the damage of Holy Power spenders by 15% while Dawnlight is active instead of 5%. So while Dawnlight's active, you're going to be doing 10% more damage with your spenders. Now this does go well with our tier set bonus and everything like that, to be fair. Herald of the Sun, Sun's avatar damage increased by 50%. This is good, but it's really good on big pulls. So the bigger the pull, the better Sun's avatar is going to do, and the more this buff will kick in. Herald of the Sun, Dawnlight damage increased by 40%. So this is good in general. It's just general damage. So, and that's it, right? Just three things for Herald of the Sun. So here's the issues. So Herald of the Sun's behind a lot on Templar overall. And they've done little buffs here and there. Coincidentally, the buff to Final Reckoning also helps Herald of the Sun for AoE. And that's what Herald of the Sun always was going to be, mostly, if it was going to be good, was probably going to be AoE. This does go a long way in making it better on AoE pulls in dungeons. I'm not going to recommend switching to it, but like as of right now, this is my first impression, basically, looking at this. And I'm not going to recommend switching to this for Mythic Plus or anything like that. However, it is going to be worth trying, like for me to try, right? So I'm going to go into a key or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, depending on how good it does. If it does good, I'll keep trying, testing it, making sure that it does good. If it does really, really bad, I'm not going to keep, screwing up groups by continually playing it. But I am going to test out a little bit of Herald of the Sun, excuse me. The biggest thing is with Hammer of Light working with this new Divine Hammer ability, it's going to be very hard for no matter what they do for that to be to be as good. And if you don't know, if you haven't watched any other videos where I might have mentioned it, your Divine Hammer actually it creates an instance of a Holy Power spender hitting or whatever, which then gives you a stack towards your free Hammer of Light, right? So while your Divine Hammer is going, it's, if you've noticed while playing this, if you didn't even know this, right, you might have noticed that you've been getting more Hammer of Light procs since you've been playing Divine Hammer. And that's basically why. And so it's hard to beat that because Hammer of Light is such a powerful move. It's hard to beat that when you play Herald. However, it's not inconsequential, especially for big pulls on that Sun's avatar damage. You're talking like a really big metery pull or something like that. I mean, that's going to add up, that 50% damage for sure. And so I am going to test it out 100%. I think, the general Ret Paladin community, as far as it exists, there's not a ton of Ret Paladin content creators, but like the Discord and stuff like that, from the beginning, they were kind of like on the Templar bandwagon, even when Sun's avatar was good in comparison. So there is a lot of that like confirmation bias kind of stuff that goes on. I will at least try it out. When I look at these buffs, I don't say, oh, this is definitely going to be the best now. I look at it and go, well, in single target, it's still going to be way worse, is what I initially would say. And then I'd say, well, maybe it's closer or, slightly better, but probably just closer to Templar and like AoE situations. And so, yeah, like I said, I'll be testing this out personally. If it is better, I'll update from here. From now on, I'd just be like, if you want to try it, you can try out Herald and see what you get on your own. I will be trying it out as well. But if not, just keep playing what you're playing. And if it ends up being like, oh my gosh, this is way better, I'll do an update video saying, hey, clickbait, play Herald of the Sun. Herald of the Sun is best or whatever. I'll do that if that ends up being the case. But as of right now, my initial takeaway is Herald of the Sun a lot closer for AoE, but still probably decently far off on single target. So don't think this really impacts a lot, but wanted to let you know what it means, at least as of now. Those are my initial takeaways. That more testing that I'll do for AoE. And I see nothing, like I said, that would say that it's going to be as good for single target. So with that, let's go ahead and move to corruption update. So we're also getting a corruption update for the patch. Now this corruptions don't come out until May. The patch comes out in a couple weeks, but this comes out in May. And basically, instead of going through them all, basically what you just need to know is they basically just up the damage of them. So, you know, over 100% each thing. Basically, I mean, they're keeping them, trying to keep them tuned in line and everything like that, but they're trying to make them a little bit more impactful. Before this update, they were very similar to like a embellishment level of damage, and now they are a little bit more than that. So they're going to be a little bit more impactful. It's going to be more borrowed power, but at least it does only last for a season, for this season. But it's also going to enable you to do higher keys, probably, make the raid easier, all those kinds of things. So basically, corruptions have been buffed. They're a little bit more impactful. You know, I doubt that this isn't going to make them the most impactful thing in the world, but they probably just felt like, in comparison to like the rings and stuff that they've added, right? The 0.7 rings in Dragonflight, and then again in 11.0.7. With those rings that they added, they were a little bit more of a damage increase, and so maybe they were like trying to put it more in line with that. Could be their thinking there. So it's just a slight buff on those. It's nothing big. It's nothing huge to write home about. But again, I'm going to continually give updates for this because this is it's something that's cool. And again, I won't go into the whole spiel, but the broader vision of being able to bring back old popular systems, not old bad systems, old popular systems, and put them in for one season or half of a season is actually kind of cool and opens up a lot of doors in the future. So I am covering this pretty closely and seeing how they pull it off, or if they don't pull it off, or whatever. So just a little update there. Basically, again, the TLDR, Horrific Visions, Enchants are buffed across the board to be a little bit more impactful than what they were going to be, which was going to be similar to like an embellishment on crafted gear. It's going to be a little bit more powerful than that as of right now. Maybe they'll go back on it. Maybe they'll buff it more. I don't know. But, you know, that's kind of where we are with that. So that'll be it for this one, guys. Just a couple little updates. Nothing monumental, unfortunately. Just a couple small updates. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel just because it helps me out a lot. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.